The second video that I am preparing for you is a video about PowerPoint, and it's actually going to have two separate videos. The first video will be PowerPoint 2007-2010. No matter which version you use, you'll be able to use it successfully. So we're going to start by starting our PowerPoint. So I'm going to go to my programs and find my Microsoft folder, my Office folder. Microsoft Office is right here. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go down to PowerPoint. And as you notice, I do have the 2010 version on my computer, but it's very similar to the 2007 version as well. So this is your beginning screen. As soon as you open it up, you have your toolbars up here, and you have your tabs that help you do different things. My Home tab has my basic layout. If I want to enter a new slide, I would click this button here. Shapes that I can insert, and many different things as we go through. You'll use all your text features are right here, and as we add text, then these things will pop up. The Insert tab allows you to insert a picture, clip art, screenshots, which is when you want a picture of the actual computer screen, what you have up. You can insert shapes, charts, text boxes. You can also insert video and audio. And so anything that you're going to insert, you'll be able to find on this tab. The Design tab helps us design the background of our PowerPoint. If you want to use the same background for the whole PowerPoint, then this is the one that you will use. You can also set up your own background and styles here if you want to choose each one. But I usually choose one, and I'll just use this one for right now. And as I add new slides, the new slide will look similar but not completely like the introductory slide. This is a good way to have unity in your PowerPoint, and you don't have to do a lot of work because the designs are already pre-made for you. So there's many different designs that you can choose from. I'll just show you a couple. There's a green one, and you can see over here that the first page looks different than all the other pages will, because you're going to have more information on the other pages. That's a basic one there with just a gray strip. There's one that has the little emblem in the middle. So there's lots of them to choose from. If you actually open it up, you can see all the different ones that you can choose from here. So if we go back to our design, you can also change the colors, the font style, and the different effects, how they come in. Also, you can do your slide orientation, so if you want it portrait, up and down, or landscape. So anything to do with the design of the PowerPoint, then you would use the Design tab. Our Transition tab has the way that each slide comes in. So right now, it's just going to go from one slide to the next. You can change that to make it do different things. For instance, you can do white, and as you can see right there, it white through it to go to the next one. So if we start on the first one, and let's do split there, and you can see that it's transitioning to the second slide doing a different, with using a different transition. And it's the same as the design. You have lots of different ways to fade in each slide. Sometimes we get a little crazy with this and do too much. Sometimes less is more. It's okay to do a few different ones, but I wouldn't have each slide doing a different thing. It takes away from what you're trying to get from the PowerPoint. You can also add sound to your slides. You can put on how long the duration of the transition should be, so how long it should take from it to go from one slide to the next. And also, if you want it to advance on a mouse click, so every time that I click, it will go to the next slide, or if you want to preset a time. This would be used if you were not actually talking through it. If you were just letting someone watch it, then you would want it preset, so that way it would go through and they can just read through as it goes through, kind of like a book. But usually I do the mouse click, and that just allows me to have control over the slide and how fast we move through. Animations is the next one. The animations is how the words and the pictures come in. Once again, we can go really crazy with this. and make our words and our pictures come in all crazy, but it takes away from the meaning of the PowerPoint. So even though a little bit is okay, we don't want to do too much and take away from that. Go ahead and type in something here in my book. Okay, and so if I wanted to preview that, and you can see how the words came in by being split. You can add an animation to any of your things. If you notice, I have a 1 here. So every animation that I actually add, if I click fly in and I hit add animation, then it's going to fly in. If I double click on another one, double click on that here. If I decide to do a wheel, then it's now going to do the wheel. If you look, now it has 2. So if I actually preview, it's doing 2 things. So you only want at least one thing on each one. Like I said before, you don't want to do too much. If you have 5 different ways to transition or to animate your words, then it's going to take away from your PowerPoint. And also you can change how fast you want it to come in, if you want to do it on click, or if you just want to automatically do it. And you can also reorder your animation, so that way if this one came in first and you wanted this one to come in first, you can reorder that using the tools on this side. So this one has everything to do with your animation. Your slideshow, this is where after you're completely finished creating your slideshow, this is what you're going to use to actually show it. So you can start your slideshow from the beginning. When I click that button, you can see that it goes to a big screen. And every time I click, something's going to happen. And I had 2 things set up for my Audubon Elementary School. And then it will go to the next page. In order to get out of the screen, I can hit this, enter again. It says in the slideshow, and you just hit escape. If you're in the middle of a slideshow and you want to get out of it, so this is the first page, I'm going to start from the beginning again. And say, oh, I forgot to do something, I just can hit escape and it goes back to my work screen. You can also start from the current slide. So if you're working on a 15-page slideshow and you know that the first 5 is exactly what you want, but you're still working on the others, you can start with the slide that you're actually working on so you can see it and how it's going to look big screen. These 2 options here, broadcast and custom slideshow, we're not going to use right now. They're not options on the older versions, and it's something that you don't need to worry about right now. If you want to set up your slideshow, you want it to be, if it's presented by a speaker, so in other words, it's going to be full screen. If someone's going to just look at it, it's going to be browsed by an individual. So if you're going to email it to someone, and browse at a kiosk, which is basically things that people are walking by, like in the mall, it's called a kiosk, and that would be full screen. You can loop continuously until it escapes. So in other words, it would be set up on a timer, and it would just automatically go through one slide at a time, and then it would just start back at the beginning and keep going again. You can show without narration, or you can actually talk through your PowerPoint with the animation and or narration, sorry, and they can hear your voice along with it, kind of like what I'm doing now. The next one is show without animation, so that way all those things that you put in would not show. You can change the pen color and the laser point color. There's lots of things to do on here, and I will just let you play and figure those things out on your own. Rehearsing timings, if you want them to take longer on one slide than another. As you can see here, it has the time set, and when I'm ready to go to the next slide, I can just click that, and then it's recording that to know how long I want to spend on each slide. Because sometimes you want to spend, close on out of that, and I'm not going to say that. Sometimes you want to spend more time on one slide than the other, so the presets do not work. The last one that we're going to talk about is review, and basically the one you're going to use here is your ABC. You always want to make sure that you haven't made any typos or any spelling errors. So that's the big one here. So I'm just going to go through and do a short PowerPoint and to kind of let you see everything that you can do and all those tools being used. So for instance, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and start a new one. I have now started a new slideshow. I went to File and went to New and clicked Link Presentation and hit Create, and that gave me this blank file. The slides over here are all the slides that I have. You can also have an outline, but I don't find that this is very useful. I like the slides so I can see what the slides look like. It's easier for me to find. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually go to our design because we have to put our back